Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for standing by for NIO Incorporated's third quarter 2021 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Today's conference call is being recorded. I will now turn the call over to your host, Ms. Eve Tang from Capital Markets and Investor Relations. Please go ahead, Eve.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome to NIO's third quarter 2021 earnings conference call. The company's financial and operating results were published in the press release earlier today and are posted at the company's IR website. On today's call, we have Mr. William Li, Founder, Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Stephen Feng, Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Stanley Qu, Senior Vice President of Finance. Before we continue, please be kindly reminded that today's discussion will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements involve inherent risks and uncertainties. As such, the company's actual results may be materially different from the views expressed today. Further information regarding risks and uncertainties is included in certain filings of the company with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The company does not assume any obligation to update any forward-looking statements, except as required under applicable law. Please also note that NIO's earnings press release and this conference call include discussions of unaudited GAAP financial information as well as unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to NIO's press release, which contains a reconciliation of the unaudited non-GAAP measures to comparable GAAP measures. With that, I will now turn the call over to our CEO, Mr. William Li. William, please go ahead.
大家好，非常感谢各位参加未来2021年第三季度季报电话会议。
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining NIO's third quarter 2021 earnings call.
2021年第三季度，未来交付再创新高，总共交付了24439辆 ES8、ES6 和 EC6， 同比增长 100.2%。
In the third quarter of 2021, we delivered 24,439 ES8, ES6, and EC6, a new quarterly record representing a solid growth of 100.2% year-over-year.
从9月28日至10月15日，为进一步提升产能和为 ET7 等新产品导入做准备，我们按计划对江淮未来合肥先进制造基地进行了阶段性升级改造。受此影响，10月总交付量为3667辆。10月下旬，我们已经恢复了正常生产。
Based on the overall production planning from September 28 to October 15, to prepare for further capacity expansion and new products introduction, including ET7, we implemented upgrades and the restructuring of manufacturing lines at the Hefei JAC NIO Advanced Manufacturing Center. Affected by the upgrades and the restructuring, we delivered 3,667 vehicles in October. The plant has resumed normal production since late October.
根据乘联会的公开数据，9月纯电电动汽车在中国乘用车销售中的渗透率达到 17.5%， 汽车行业的智能化和电动化转型已经加快，越来越多的用户开始选择智能电动汽车。未来新增订单持续增长，10月新增订单创历史新高，目前交付量主要受供应波动的影响，预计2021年的第四季度的总交付量将达23500台到25500辆。
According to the data published by China Passenger Car Association, the penetration rate of battery electric vehicles among passenger vehicles reached 17.5% in September. As the automotive industry is accelerating its transformation towards smartization and electrification, more and more users are now choosing smart EVs over ICEs. The order momentum continues to be strong, and our new orders have reached a new all-time high in October. Currently, our delivery volume is mainly constrained by supply chain volatilities. We expect the total delivery in the fourth quarter of 2021 to be between 23,500 to 25,500 vehicles.
在毛利率方面，三季度整车毛利率为 18%， 受益于双积分的销售收入，综合毛利率达 20.3%。
In the third quarter, the vehicle gross margin stood at 18.0%, while the overall gross margin reached 20.3%, benefited from the sales of a regulatory credit.
接下来我跟大家交流一下公司运营方面的一些重点工作。
Next, I would like to share with you some recent operational highlights of the company.
9月 ET7 首批全工艺生产线试制车正式下线，已经完成全工艺生产的试制调测，开始为最终量产做准备。ET7 在量产过程中做了一系列的产品优化，比如风阻系数从 0.23 优化到 0.208， 我们对 ET7 的最终产品竞争力和市场表现充满信心。
In September, the first batch of ET7 tooling trial builds rolled off the production line, representing that the tryout and commissioning of the overall manufacturing process have been completed. The teams are making final preparations for the mass production of ET7. During this preparation process, we have also made various product optimizations on ET7. For example, the drag coefficient of ET7 was improved from 0.23 to 0.208. We are very confident about the final product competitiveness and the market performance of the ET7.
NAD 软硬件系统的开发工作也在顺利推进，基于 NT2 屏的另外2款新车型的开发工作也在按计划开展，预计于明年下半年开始陆续交付给用户。我们将在今年的 NIO Day 与大家分享更多新产品的详细信息。
The software and hardware development of NAD are also pressing ahead on schedule. The development of the other 2 new products on NIO Technology Platform 2.0 are also moving forward smoothly, and the delivery to users is expected to start in the second half of next year. We will share more product details at NIO Day 2021.
9月我们发布了75度3元铁锂标准续航电池包，进一步提升了未来电池体系的竞争力。通过业界首创磷酸铁锂和3元锂混合电芯布置，结合先进的热管理软硬件体系和电量估算体系，未来电池团队和合作伙伴一起解决了磷酸铁锂电池低温性能以及电量估算不准的问题，并实现了更高的能量密度和更长的续航里程以及更低的成本。
In September, we launched the 75 kilowatt-hour standard range battery pack with LFP NCM hybrid cells, which has further enhanced the competitiveness of NIO's battery system. Empowered by the industry-first LFP NCM cell layout and advanced software and hardware systems of thermal management and SOC estimation, NIO's battery system team worked closely with our partner in overcoming the disadvantages of the LFP cells in aspects of low temperature performance and SOC estimation. On top of that, the 75 kilowatt-hour hybrid battery pack has also achieved higher energy density and a longer drive range and a lower cost compared with the 70 kilowatt-hour NCM battery pack.
产能方面，除了江淮未来先进制造基地的产能提升与整体升级改造外，位于合肥新桥智能电动汽车产业园的第2生产基地的建设工作也在按计划展开。4月29号开工，8月26日主体结构封顶，11月底将开始设备安装，明年3季度正式投产。
In terms of production capacity, Besides the upgrades and the restructuring of the manufacturing lines in JC NIO Advanced Manufacturing Center, the second manufacturing site at NIO Park in Hefei is also under construction. After the kickoff on April 29, we completed the main structure construction on August 26 and will start the equipment installation at end of this month. In the third quarter of 2022, we will begin production officially.
在供应链端，受全球疫情和极端天气等多种因素的影响，我们经历了多重供应链挑战。供应链团队、研发团队和合作伙伴一起采取了一系列措施，保障了第三季度的交付季度新高，并会继续为四季度的交付以及新产品的顺利量产做好全面的保供工作。
On the supply side, due to global COVID-19 pandemic, extreme weather events, and other factors, the overall supply chain remains challenging. Our supply chain team, R&D team, and the partners have adopted a series of measures to support the record high quarterly delivery in the third quarter, and will continue to secure the supply for the delivery in the fourth quarter and upcoming new product production.
销售和服务网络方面，我们现有32个未来中心和285个未来空间，覆盖中国132个城市。我们会继续加大和优化未来中心和未来空间的布局，让未来的品牌深入到更多2、3线城市。目前我们在中国141个城市拥有43家未来服务中心和181家授权服务中心。我们会继续加强服务中心的建设，为快速增长的用户提供更高质量的服务。
With regards to the sales and service network, we now have 32 new houses and 285 new spaces in 132 cities in China. We'll continue to expand and optimize our new house and new space coverage to effectively penetrate into more Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. As of now, we have 43 new service centers and 181 authorized service centers in 141 cities. We will build more service centers to ensure high quality services to the rapidly growing user base.
在充换电网络方面，我们已经建成608座换电站，覆盖中国153个城市，完成了超过474万次换电。同时，我们已经在全国累计部署超过了460座超充站和3155根目的地充电桩。
Up until now, we have deployed 608 battery swap stations in 153 cities in China and completed over 4.74 million swaps. In addition, we have built over 460 power charger stations and 3,155 destination chargers across China.
伴随加速布局的充换电网络、换电技术和 BaaS 带来的卓越体验和价值，使得 BaaS 成为了越来越多未来用户的选择。
As we speed up the deployment of the swapping and charging infrastructure, the superior experience and value brought forward by battery swapping technology and battery as a service have made BaaS the go-to choice for more and more users.
全球市场方面，9月30日，挪威未来中心开始运营，得到了公众和媒体的广泛关注。我们于当天已经开始了 ES8 的第一批交付，并开始为当地用户提供服务。ES8 获得了 Euro NCAP 的5星安全评级，其产品性能和体验受到了当地用户和媒体的高度认可。当前订单需求超过预期，在所有订单中 92% 的用户选择了 BaaS。未来的产品、服务和创新商业模式不仅适用中国市场，在全球市场也具有其独特价值和优势。在2022年，我们会继续大力推进全球市场的布局。
Regarding the global market, we opened our new house in Norway on September 30, which has attracted wide attention from both the public and the media. On the same day, we started to deliver ES8 and provide services to our users in Norway. Besides achieving Euro NCAP 5-star safety rating, the ES8 has also received the rave reviews on its performance and the product experience from the local users and the media. The order intake has exceeded our expectations. More importantly, among all the orders, 92% of the users have chosen BUS. NIO's products, services, and innovative business model not only have been well received in China, but also present unique value and strength in the global market. In 2022, we will further step up our efforts in entering more global markets.
用户是未来的根基，多元化的用户社区为未来带来了更多的生机，驱动未来朝着更好的方向发展。10月，未来用户信托联合三江源生态保护基金会启动了三江源国家公园绿色生态共建计划，共同助力三江源国家公园建设。NIO Day 2021也于10月宣布定档12月18日于苏州举行。用户顾问团与 NIO Day 筹委会紧密合作，已经进入 NIO Day 筹备的最后冲刺阶段，请大家敬请期待用户和未来一起为大家精心准备的 NIO Day 2021。
Users have always been the foundation of NIO. A diversified user community brings a greater vitality to NIO and drives NIO to become better. In October, NIO and the NIO Users Trust joined hands with Sanjiangyuan Ecology Protection Foundation to build a green ecosystem in the Sanjiangyuan National Park. With much anticipation, we have announced that NIO Day 2021 will be held in Suzhou on December 18 this year. NIO user advisors and the NIO Day organizing committee are working closely on the final preparation. Please stay tuned for the coming NIO Day organized together by NIO and our users.
2021年，未来在产品研发、产能提升、充换电以及销售服务网络上进行了大力投入。2022年，我们将持续加大投入，进一步增加长期竞争力，为用户带来更好的产品和服务。
In 2021, NIO has doubled down on investment in product development, capacity expansion, charging and swapping network, as well as the sales and service network. In 2022, we will continue to make a decisive investment to further enhance our long-term competitiveness and provide better products and services to users.
Steven.
As always, thank you for your support. With that, I will now turn the call over to Steven to provide the financial details for the quarter. Steven, please go ahead.
Thank you, Vivian. I will log over our key financial results for the third quarter of 2021, and to be mindful of the length of this call, I encourage listeners to refer to our earnings press release, which is posted online for additional details. Our total revenues in the third quarter were 9.81 billion RMB, or $1.52 billion, representing an increase of 116.6% year-over-year, and increase of 16.1% quarter-over-quarter. Our total revenues are made of two parts: vehicle sales and other sales. Vehicle sales in the third quarter were 8.64 billion RMB, or $1.34 billion, accounting for 88% of total revenues in this quarter. It represented an increase of 102.4% year-over-year, and increase of 9.2% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in vehicle sales year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to the increase of vehicle delivery volume. Other sales in third quarter were 1.1 billion RMB, or $181.4 million, representing an increase of 350.8% year-over-year, and increase of 170.9% quarter-over-quarter. The increase The other sales year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to the sales of automotive regulatory credits and the batteries upgrade service, as well as other revenues which increased in line with incremental vehicle sales in the third quarter of 2021. Cost of sales in the third quarter was 7.81 billion RMB, or $1.21 billion, representing an increase of 98.3% year-over-year and an increase of 13.6% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in cost of sales was in line with revenue growth, which was mainly driven by the increase of vehicle delivery volume in the third quarter of 2021. Gross profit in the third quarter was 1.99 billion RMB, or $0.31 billion, representing an increase of 240.3% year-over-year, an increase of 26.6% quarter-over-quarter. Gross margin in the third quarter was 20.3%, compared with 12.9% in the same quarter of 2020 and 18.6% in the second quarter of 2021. The increase of gross margin year-over-year was mainly driven by the increase of vehicle margin and the sales of automotive regulatory credits. The increase of gross margin quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to the sales of automotive regulatory credits. More specifically, vehicle margin in the third quarter was 18.0%, compared with 14.5% in the same quarter of 2020 and 20.3% in the second quarter of 2021. The increase of vehicle margin year-over-year was mainly driven by the higher average selling price as well as lower material costs. The decrease of vehicle margin quarter-over-quarter was mainly due to the increased financing at subsidized rates for vehicle purchases, which resulted in a deduction of vehicle revenue and increase in tooling depreciation costs. R&D expenses in the third quarter were 1.19 billion RMB, or $185.2 million, representing an increase of 101.9% year-over-year, an increase of 35% quarter-over-quarter. The increase of R&D expenses year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was mainly attributed to increased personnel costs in research and development functions, as well as incremental design and development costs for new products and technologies. SG&A expenses in the third quarter were 1.82 billion RMB, or $0.28 billion, representing an increase of 94.1% year-over-year, an increase of 21.8% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in SG&A expenses year-over-year and quarter-over-quarter was primarily due to the increase of personnel costs in sales and service functions and costs related to sales and service network expansion. Loss from operations in the third quarter was 0.99 billion RMB, or $153.9 million, representing an increase of 4.9% year-over-year and an increase of 29.9% quarter-over-quarter. Share-based compensation expenses in the third quarter were 265.6 million RMB, or $41.2 million, representing an increase of 439.8% year-over-year, an increase of 5.6% quarter-over-quarter. The increase in share-based compensation expenses year-over-year was primarily attributed to additional options and restricted shares granted. Net loss in the third quarter was 835.3 million RMB, or $129.6 million, representing a decrease of 20.2% year-over-year, an increase of 42.3% quarter-over-quarter. Net loss attributable to NIO's ordinary shareholders in the third quarter was 2.86 billion RMB, or $443.7 million, representing an increase of 114.7% year-over-year, an increase of 333.6% quarter-over-quarter. In the third quarter of 2021, NIO repurchased 1.418% equity interest in NIO China from a minority strategic investor for a total consideration of 2.5 billion RMB and recorded an amount of 2.02 billion RMB in accretion on redeemable non-controlling interests to redemption value. Basic and diluted net loss per ADS in the third quarter were both 1.82 RMB or 28 cents per ADS. Excluding share-based compensation expenses and accretion on redeemable non-controlling interests to redemption value, non-GAAP adjusted basic and diluted net loss per ADS were both 0.36 RMB or 6 cents per ADS. Our balance of cash and cash equivalents, restricted cash, and short-term investment was 47 billion RMB or $7.3 billion as of September 30, 2021. And now for our business outlook. As William mentioned, for the fourth quarter of 2021, the company expects deliveries to be between 23,500 and 25,500 vehicles, representing an increase of approximately 35.4% to 46.9% from the same quarter of 2020, and a decrease of approximately 3.8% to an increase of approximately 4.3% from the third quarter of 2021. The company also expects the total revenues of the fourth quarter of 2021 to be between 9.38 billion RMB and 10.11 billion RMB, representing an increase of approximately 41.2% to 52.2% from the same quarter of 2020, and a decrease of approximately 4.4% to an increase of approximately 3.1% from the third quarter of 2021. This business outlook reflects the company's current and the preliminary view on the business situation and market condition, which is subject to change. Now, this concludes our prepared remarks. I will now turn the call over to the operator to facilitate our Q&A session.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. To ask a question, press star one on your telephone. To cancel a request, press the pound or hash key. For the benefit of all participants on today's call, please limit yourself to 2 questions. You can re-enter the queue. Your first question comes from Tim Hsiao of Morgan Stanley. Please ask your question.
Hi, Will and Stephen and Tim. Thanks for taking my question. It's great to see NIO manage to navigate through the component crunch and production hiccup in first half. Just 2 quick questions from my side. The first one, we've seen restructuring and upgrade of the production lines cause around 2 rounds of disruption to our delivery and production this year. Just wanted to confirm that if we've completed all the necessary restructuring for the 3 new models next year, or should we expect any similar disruption sometime next year? My second question is about the details of the other sales. Could you share more information about the NIO's third quarter other sales? Because it has been surging quite a lot. I think a more significant revenue increase was attributable to the sales of NEV credits and the battery upgrade services. Could we have the further breakdowns regarding the contribution from both items? and what could be the scales of the contribution into fourth quarter? Because if you look at the current fourth quarter revenue guidance, it seems that it just mainly reflect the contribution from the vehicle sales. So should we expect the contribution from other sales to rise further? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
好，谢谢 Tim。第一个问题我来回答，第二个问题 Stanley 会来做回答。我们对前面我们也讲到了这个我们在两个工厂方面的一些进展。那么第一个工厂的话呢，我们这个在10月份的9月底10月初10月中旬，我们做了一个比较长时间的停线，主要是增加产能，还有为新产品的导入做准备。那么后续的话呢，还会有一些少量的改造，因为产品的这个导入期啊，它这个还是需要花一些时间的。但是的话呢，不会对我们的这个生产的这个节奏啊产生什么影响，不会有这次这么大的一个影响，这是第一个。那另外的话呢，我们明年的一些新车型，有一些新车型是在我们的新工厂，就是这个在新桥园区的那个第二工厂生产的。那么当然它会有个爬坡的过程，它对于现有产品的这个生产是不会有影响。
Tim, thank you for your question. I will answer the first one, and Stanley is going to answer the second one. In the previous remarks, we have also talked about the progress of our capacity expansion for the two plants. For the first plant, just like you mentioned, starting from the end of September to the middle of October, we have done a restructuring and upgrades of the manufacturing lines to further expand the production capacity and prepare for the new product introduction. Following this upgrades, we probably will do some minor restructurings and modifications of the production lines, but we believe the following restructuring is not going to have a very significant impact on the normal production of the vehicles. Secondly, regarding the new products, some of the new products will be manufactured in the second plant. Then this means that for the second plant, we will need some time to ramp up the production for the new products, but this is not going to affect the manufacturing of the existing products.
Hi, Tim. Regarding the second question, among the other revenue, 570 million RMB was contributed by the NEV credit sales, and after deduction of this NEV credit sales, our total gross margin for other revenue decreased from minus 5.6% to 2.6%. That's because it's driven by the expansion of our sales and service network in Q3, and as mentioned by William in his explanation, the construction of our sales and service network infrastructure moved earlier and faster than our sales increase, especially in this year. So we are expecting the total revenue of other service will increase, but the gross profit margin for this part will decrease a little bit in Q4. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. Could you, sorry, just a quick follow-up. Could you highlight some potential contribution from the sales of credit into fourth quarter?
Yeah. Almost majority of the NEV credit sales was realized in Q3. So in Q4, we don't expect significant revenue from this part. Yeah.
对，我们今年的和去年相比，我们今年的对积分确认的话呢，是更早完成这个主要的这个积分的交易。对，刚才 Stanley 也讲。
Just like Stanley explained, this year is a bit different from last year. We recognized the sales of the regulatory credits much earlier compared with last year.
Thank you, William.
Your next question comes from Nick Lai of JP Morgan. Please ask a question.
Thank you for taking my question. It's Nick from JP Morgan. Good morning, William and Stephen. My two simple questions is number one related to margin, and the second question is related to ET7, the new exciting model. First of all, on the margin front, the vehicle margin third quarter was 18%, slightly down from 20% in 2Q. I wonder how should we think about the margin into 4Q or first half next year, taking into account of two factors. The first factor is pricing dynamic or competition from the peers, and the second is raw material price, especially on the battery front. That's the first question, and I think you answered part of my question earlier on the credit sales. So second question on ET7 is certainly a very exciting product. When should we expect the car to hit the showroom in the near term, and the medium to longer term after production is ramped up? How should we think about the volume and the possibility of ET7 relative to our current high-end product ES8? ES8's current monthly run rate sales volume is roughly about 1,500. So how should we think about the profit margin and the volume for ET7? That's two simple questions. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Nick. This is Danny. About your first question, a question regarding the gross profit margin. And our 75 kilowatt hours battery will start to be delivered from November, and gross profit margin will be improved a little bit compared with 70 kilowatt hours battery. But prices of our key materials like aluminum, copper, and also chips are increasing, and there will be pressures for our cost controlling. But we are confident to continuously improve our gross profit margin with combined efforts either from the product design or supply chain optimization. So for Q4, we're expecting the gross profit margin will keep stable, and for next year, our target is to achieve 20% gross profit margin for vehicles. And along with our launch of NT2 products, from a long run perspective, we try to achieve a higher profit margin with about 25%, for vehicles. Okay.
好，这个就像刚才 Stanley 讲的，我们从 NT2 的这个角度来讲，我们当然这个随着规模的增长，还有我们这种各方面的一些优化，我们在 NT2 的这个毛利目标是整车的毛利目标是在 25%， 这是我们设定的一个毛利目标。当然初期的话呢，产能爬坡阶段肯定是需要一个过程。那 ET7 的话呢，从我们目前来讲的话，我们财务的这个毛利方面的这个表现应该还是非常不错的啊，根据我们目前的这个测算的角度来讲的话。当然 ET7 在明年一季度的话我们要交付，那我们目前来讲的话呢，我们是计划在这个春节前后吧，我们会在展厅里面能看到这个我们的这个实车那后续的话呢，我们当然就开始这个交付的工作。现在确实因为我们这上面用了很多这种非常新的这样的一些这个传感器啊和这样的一些芯片，所以总体上来讲的话呢，这个这个量产的压力肯定是有的，但目前来看的话，总体上都按计划在进行。
As Stanley mentioned, as Stanley mentioned, basically for the NT2 product, we expect that with the economy of scales and the volume ramp up as well as the optimizations in every aspect, we should be able to reach 25% vehicle gross margin in the long run. At the beginning, of course, we will need some time to ramp up the production of the new products based on the new technology platform 2.0. According to our preliminary estimation internally, we believe the vehicle gross margin of the new product should be quite good. And for the ET7 delivery, we are going to start the delivery of ET7 in the first quarter of next year. So it means that we will have the cars in our new houses and the new spaces around the Spring Festival's time. Then afterwards, we will start the deliveries to the users. Because we have used many advanced chips and sensors on the ET7, so this has put a lot of pressure on the mass production of ET7, but we believe everything is on schedule.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Your next question comes from Mingsun Lee of Bank of America Securities. Please ask a question.
Thank you. Good morning, William, Stephen, and Stanley. So my question is regarding your supply chain. So right now, actually, we are hearing some of the auto company expect the chip shortage situation will not be fully resolved by the mid of next year. So right now, I want to hear your latest view regarding your chip supply situation and also the large size battery pack supply situation. And also, right now, for your consumers, if they place orders to you, I think the waiting time is more than 2 months already. So how will you retain those consumers? And also, next year, we expect the EV purchase subsidy to be cut further. So in this case, if the consumer place an order before the year end, but they need to, we need to deliver the car after, I think in next year. So will we continue to give them similar subsidy amount? So we absorb the subsidy cut. Yeah, this is my question. Thank you.
好，谢谢明。我们确实这个芯片短缺，目前来讲的话呢，比这个最糟糕的3季度会好一点啊。但总体上来说的话呢，还是挑战还是非常大的。但芯片这个短缺，它主要的问题就是我们很难预期说哪一款芯片突然出什么问题，这是这个比较挑战的地方。但有一些呢，已知的这样，比如说像意法半导体在马来西亚的封测厂这样的一些产能受疫情影响的产能，这个大家都知道了。这个呢，可能是能看到曙光，但是有的时候可能有一些芯片它可能突然的就出现一些问题。那好的地方就在于我们已经适应了这样的一个情况啊，我们总是能够尽可能的找到一些解决方案。还有一点的话呢，相对整个汽车行业的销量来讲的话，我们总体的量还是占的比例还是非常少的，所以和这个成熟的这些汽车公司相比的话呢，我们要比他们面临的困难要小一点啊，这是客观的来讲是这样。那当然这个，你先翻。
Thank you, Ming, for your question. Regarding the chip shortage situation, we believe right now is much better than the situation in Q3, but the challenge is still quite big because it's very difficult for us to forecast what is going to happen for the chip supply. I think everyone knows about the ST Micro's situation in Malaysia, and the situation basically is improving right now. The good thing is our teams have learned to adapt to the situation and face the challenges head on, and we have always been able to find a solution to all those challenges. On the other hand, our volume compared to the mature OEMs is still relatively small, so the challenges for us is smaller compared to the mature OEMs.
这里面我想强调一下，就是因为我们很多的这个 domain controller， 我们的这几个主要的 domain controller 都是我们自己研发的，所以我们在使用替代芯片，比如说有一些芯片短缺，我们需要去找替代芯片，快速验证快速生产这件事情上，跟一般的汽车公司相比的话呢，有很大的一个优势。事实上我们也是因为有这样的一个能力我们解决了好几次的这样的一个可能的一个短缺的问题。那电池的供应方面的话呢，75度电的话呢，我们9月份发布了，但是我们真正装到车上的话呢，差不多是需要到11月的下旬。那它也有一个产能爬坡的过程，那我们估计是75度电的产能爬坡，差不多是在明年的1季度能够释放全部的产能。电池现在还是我们的一个非常 大的一个约束交付量的一个约束我们现在因为这个电池也是宁德时代独家供应的，他们也是花了很多的这个投资去帮我们增加产能，但总体上来讲的话呢，这个确实电池的供应是我们交付的一个天花板吧，也确实是。
I would like to specifically mention that because the many domain controllers in our vehicles are actually developed by ourselves in-house. So if there is a shortage of certain chips in the domain controllers, our teams have the capability to quickly find the alternative and do the rapid validation and faster production of the vehicles and the chips. So because of these capabilities, we have already resolved some chip shortage situations happened to our vehicles. For the 75 kilowatt-hour battery pack, we announced this in September, but we will gradually start the delivery of the 75 kilowatt-hour battery pack in late November. We also need some time to ramp up the production of the new battery pack, and we believe the production is going to reach a reasonable level at the first quarter of next year. The battery is actually a very big constraint for us. CATL is our partner on the battery side. They have invested a lot to help us and to support our vehicle production, but we believe the battery is still the main constraint on the overall production and the supply capacity.
现在我们确实订我们的车需要等一段时间，我们前一段时间也刚刚发布了我们一个就保留用户订单的一个政策我们会给一些积分的这样的一些奖励。但在这方面我们一直都是有经验的，我们从18年开始，包括去年我们都有很长的一个等待，所以目前来看的话，这方面我们不觉得这个等待会造成一个用户的一个流失我们觉得这个应该还是正常的一个情况。
Yes, as I mentioned, if you place the order right now, you will need to wait for some time to get the cars delivered. But recently we have also announced some policies regarding the subsidy reduction for the next year to keep our customers and also keep our customers during this long waiting time. For example, we will provide the new credits or new points to the users during this waiting time, and this kind of incentives have helped us in the past. For example, starting from 2018, we have already got those policies in place, and we believe that this is not going to affect the users regarding the waiting time.
那EV补贴现在还没有出台这个政策只是当然大家可能预期会有一个补贴的退坡，但事实上现在补贴也没多少也就1万多块钱，所以对我们来说即使有退坡我不觉得会有什么实质的影响。而且我们一直在价格方面我们从来都公布的是补贴前的售价，所以补贴退坡对我们影响，特别我们的车的平均售价比较高，所以我不认为对我们的影响，对我们销量和一个交付的节奏有什么实质性的影响。
Regarding the EV subsidy, we believe this is not going to have a significant impact on us because our average selling price is actually quite high regarding our products. So even considering the subsidy is not going to be a very big amount comparing to the selling price of the vehicles.
好，谢谢你。
谢谢William。
Your next question comes from Bin Wang of Credit Suisse. Please ask a question.
Thank you for taking my question. I got two ones, and the first one is about a potential IPO, because one of the key concerns that NIO seems to be the only one still just in the US. So and also some of the media report that is because of the NIO user trust. Can you explain a little bit why the NIO user trust could be one of the reasons prevent you come back to Hong Kong IPO? That is the first question. The second thing is about the gross margin. Actually, you mentioned one of the reasons is because auto finance lead to the margin decline. However, if you see the demand has been very good and short of supply, I'm quite just curious why we, in a very tight supply, we still increase the auto finance need to the volume margin. Theoretically, should reduce the auto finance, right? And also, I told some of my friends told me that you actually may remove or reduce the auto finance in the number 4 quarter. Can I confirm this is the case? If it is the case, can I assume the gross margin we have increase in the number 4 quarter compared to number 3 because you don't provide auto finance anymore? And the average ASP also will increase because auto finance seems to be one of the reasons for the ASP decline in the number 3 quarter compared to 2nd quarter. Thank you.
Bin, this is Steven. Thank you for your question. I would like, with regard to your first question, I have 2 comments. First, we are open-minded. We closely monitor the market and will make the right choice in the best interest of our shareholders. Second, we actually explore the possibilities to get listed in Hong Kong market, and we are in the doing what necessary to evaluate and communicate.
好的，谢谢王斌。对，当然我们会做对投资者最合适的选择啊，会当然我们对各种可能性都是开放的。那至于这个你刚才讲到的那个毛利，这个 auto financing 对毛利的这个影响，那事实上来讲的话呢，大家这个我也希望大家可能如果对我们的业务有深入了解，知道我们在这个在供应和这个我们的产品的这个配置之间我们确实是需要去保证这个交付的话，我们需要做一些事情。举一个例子来讲的话，我们的这个75度电9月份发布了，那么我们当然用户看到这个电池更好，那么他们会有一些这个期望，需要等到这个电池。但我们事实上来讲，我们的这个电池的交付和爬坡需要一个过程，我们需要11月下旬才能开始交付，然后还有一个比较长的爬坡的过程，电池的这个产量要爬上来，它是需要一个时间点的。那我们这个怎么解决这样的一些问题，我们需要一些手段在这个中间的话，这个 auto financing 就会是我们的一个手段，我们去鼓励用户去用100度的电池就类似于这样的一些事情。那我们不觉得这对价格是一个因为我们也不希望去通过降价这种方式做但我们不觉得这个是一个长期的一个做法，主要是解决我们一个短期的供应链的平顺性所以这个是一些阶段性的一些影响吧。长期来讲的话，我们还是会在供应链稳定了以后我们相信这些毛利这个会回到它正常的一个水平。
Thank you, Bing, for your question. So we will make the decisions to best serve the interest of our investors, and will be open-minded to different choices. Regarding the impact of the auto financing on the margin, if you get to know about our business operations, you will know that we will need to take some measures to balance the supply and the product configurations as well as the user demands. For example, with the 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, we announced this battery pack in September. Many users would like to wait for this 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, but just like I mentioned, we will start the delivery of this battery pack in late November, and even at that time, we will still need some time to ramp up the production of the battery pack to a reasonable level. That is why we will need to take some measures to balance this demand among the users and the product configuration as well as the battery supply. And we encourage the users to choose the 100 kilowatt hour battery pack in that case. We believe if the right approach for us is not to reduce the price of our product or offer discounts to our users on the vehicle price. So that is why we would like to take those measures to balance the demand and the supply. But this is not going to be the long-term measures we take. This is only a short-term measure for us to balance the supply and the demand situation. Once the supply get to a reasonable level in the long run, then we believe the overall gross margin and the vehicle gross margin is going to improve.
谢谢王斌。
Thank you.
Your next question comes from Edison Yu of Deutsche Bank. Please ask your question.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for taking our questions. First question is on the ET7 ADAS capabilities. Could you maybe discuss what kind of features we could expect at launch? And if you can't reveal that right now, would you expect to do any sort of demonstrations on the road in the coming months, similar to what other competitors have done? And then second question, more longer term. Last year at NIO Day, you kind of teased a solid-state battery or a hybrid solid-state battery coming to the vehicles, I believe, at the end of next year. Is there any update on this? Is this still on track? Any details you could provide there? That'd be great. Thank you.
谢谢 Edison。我们现在做演示的人很多了，我们就没必要去做太多的演示了，所以我们还是关注这个量产。那当然，这个在我们 NT2 这个 ET7 上应用 NT2 的技术，在 NAD 的功能释放方面的话呢，肯定是有一个长期的过程。那我们当然在一开始我们会交付这个跟这个辅助驾驶相关的功能，但是这个肯定已经是用我们全站的技术了，包括感知包括整个的规控，全部都是用我们自己的这个全站的这个软件硬件的技术。那当然 NAD 的这个我们在今年年初宣布是按月去订阅，那也给我们自己在这个提供这个服务方面的时间方面，给我们也预留了一些空间我们还是会在包括法规、包括这个安全性、可用性可靠性各方面 balance 到一定程度的话，我们再去开放这个服务。那总体上来讲，我们不会刻意的去做一些 demo 这样的 demo 就像我说的，现在有上百家公司都会做这样的 demo， 我认为这不是最关键的那150度电的话，我们和我们的合作伙伴，我们都还在按照计划在这个开发的过程中我们在今年年初说的也是明年下半年明年4季度去提供这样的一个服务目前来看的话，我们还是按照这个计划去准备。
Actually, I believe a lot of people are working on the demos, so we don't actually want the teams to focus their energy on the demo. We would like to have the teams to be fully dedicated to the mass production of the technology and of a new product like the ET7. Regarding the ET7 NAD, we will need some time to gradually release those advanced features to the users. And we believe for all those features, of course, it will be based on our in-house full stack technology. Previously, I have also explained that the NAD features will be released to the users based on the subscription, like the AD as a service. So this innovative business model has offered us some flexibilities in terms of how should we provide and when should we provide all those services and features to the users. We will need to strike a balance between different factors, including the regulations, safety, and reliability. Then after we strike the perfect balance or find a sweet spot, then we can start to provide those services to the users. I believe right now there are hundreds of companies working on those kind of demos, so we don't want to waste our energy on that. Regarding the 150 kilowatt-hour battery pack, we are now working together with our partners and everything's basically on track. Previously, we mentioned that we will start the delivery of this battery pack in the fourth quarter of next year, and we believe we should be able to meet this schedule.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edison.
Your next question comes from Jeff Chung of Citi. Please ask your question.
Hey, hi, William, Stephen. I got 3 questions. Number 1, what kind of annualized total volume production from the NT2 platform should lead to the 25% GP margin according to your guidance? Second question is, apart from the 3 brand new products launching 2022, how likely are we going to launch the facelift version of the existing product, the ES8, ES6, and EC6? So how likely we're going to launch 6 new products next year instead of 3 brand new products? And finally is the NEV credits. So could you guide us how many points we sold in the third quarter? So and from which we can estimate the ASP of the NEV credit compared with the previous quarters. Thank you, William. Thank you, Stephen.
Jeff, with regard to your first question about GP margin, our 25 GP margin for NT2 platform is based on the annual production volume of 300,000 units per year.
对，差不多是我们觉得，对，像 Steven 讲，这是我们的一个计划，我们觉得年产量在30万台左右，我们就差不多能到25的一个毛利。目前呢，我们对这还是非常有信心的。那当然我们现在的这些车肯定是会升级到这个 NT2 的平台的，但我们会把这个时间我们也是会要这个认真的去管理这个节奏。那我们目前来讲的话呢，可能我们这些升级的计划已经在这个量产的工作这个研发的工作已经在进行的过程中那我们合适的时候会来发布具体的一些消息。
Just like Stephen mentioned that our plan is if we can achieve a annual production of 300,000 units, we should be able to reach 25% vehicle gross margin on the NIO technology platform 2.0. We are very confident to achieve these targets. For the existing products, of course, we have a plan to upgrade our product to the NIO technology platform 2.0. And we believe that this is very important for the company, and we will need to focus on manage the schedule for the product upgrades in specific details. Internally, we have already kicked off the development work on this regard, and we have started how should we upgrade the different products to the NIO technology platform 2.0.
Yeah, about the NEV credits. Totally around 200,000 points were sold in Q3. But I want to remind is the price volatility for NEV credit is also high, along with the China's NEV penetration increase recently. So I hope this can help you to build the expectation for our futures the NEV credit revenue. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 我们今年的分肯定数量比去年会增加，但是就像刚才 Stanley 讲的，现在今年这个电动车、新能源车的这个 penetration 比我们想象的上涨的要快了很多，所以会影响一些这个供需所以明年的价格到底是多少，现在大家都有不同的预测但总体上来讲，我认为应该会比今年这个每分的这个价格肯定会有一些下降。
This year, basically, we believe the number of the credits we receive will increase, but this year the penetration rate of the NEV has increased very rapidly. This probably is going to change the situation for next year regarding the regulatory credit sales. According to my personal estimation, I think considering all those factors, the price of the NEV credit is going to be different or probably going to be lower compared with this year's price.
谢谢 Jeff。
Your next question comes from Paul Gong of UBS. Please ask a question.
Yeah. Hi. Thanks, guys. I have two questions. The first one is regarding the Norway operation. Obviously it has been more than 1 month, and you just briefly mentioned 92% of the users choose BaaS, and the order has been exceeding your expectation. Can you give us more color, like how the achievement it was there, and what is the challenges over there? Obviously, it's a rich country, but the labor cost might also be much higher than in China. What can you share with us? And after Norway, what is your next destination for the overseas operation? The second question is regarding your expense spending. It seems that this quarter, the increase in SG&A has been a bit faster than expected, while the R&D increase has been a little bit slower than expected. What is the key rationale behind and key reasons behind? In view you have so many orders undelivered because of the supply chain disruption, will you consider slow down a little bit of the SG&A and instead put more budget into the R&D in the following 1 or 2 quarters? 简单的翻译一下吧，就第一个问题是关于挪威的这一边，就刚才您也提到了，就订单超过预期，能不能就说再给出多一点细节，就那一边的有超预期大致上是一个什么情况，然后有一些什么样的挑战包括就是人力成本之类的，这些是不是说一些需要关注的一些因素然后挪威之后的下一站会是在什么地方，怎么计划另外一部分是这个研发费用和这个销售管理和销售管理费用之间的一个分配看起来好像是这个销售管理费用这边是多了一点研发费用那边反而就没有之前所指引的增加的那么的快这个背后有什么特别的原因吗然后现在在一个供不应求的一个情况之下是不是就是说这个销售费用之类的不需要增长的那么快，然后接下来可能多花一点在研发上边。
谢谢 Paul。我们在挪威总体上来讲的话，现在各方面的工作都是达到了我们的预期那应该讲的话呢，就是我们在9月30号，我们的挪威的 NIO House 开业以后那我们的有一个小的细节的数字，我可以跟大家分享一下。就是总体上来讲，试驾过我们车的用户超过1/4都会订我们的车那这个还是非常 impressive 的一个数字，比我们在中国的这个效率要高很多当然我们在交付上我们会谨慎一些，我们会因为我们还有很多服务的流程，我们需要把它打通。比如说我们的换电站，就前2天在刚刚开始正式投入运营因为疫情的原因嘛，我们的工程师要帮助去安装很多这样的一些事情，比以前都要复杂很多。还有我们的一些售后服务的体系，我们希望先建立好，然后再开始更积极的去交付我们现在这个订单的数量肯定是足够了就是而且增长的趋势也非常的好。那我们11月份开始我们会交付会开始提速11月份前边9月底我们交了一点，10月份我们也交了一些，但都不是很多它并不是这个订单不够，还是我们对交付的节奏控制一下我对我自己的一个我们叫 VU 就是我们自己的一个工作目标我们是更关注用户的满意度我们希望能够保持在一个非常高的用户满意度，我们觉得口碑是非常重要的现在总体上来讲都还不错。前2天我看这个我的一个朋友从这个正好他去到这个 NIO House 看里面的人流量非常的多这个我也看得非常的高兴，他给我发了一个视频回来。这总体上来讲我们会投入会非常的坚决，但是我们是非常有耐心 step by step 去建立我们的一个口碑欧洲的其他国家的准备工作也都在这个积极的这个展开明年我们至少会进入到包括挪威在内，我们会至少进入到5个欧洲国家 会开始提供我们的产品和服务。当我们在欧洲其他的国家，我们会直接提供我们 NT2 的产品，所以第一代的这个 ES8 我们只会在挪威销售别的国家我们都会直接会去提供这个第二代的这个产品，这是我们总体的一个节奏。
Thank you for your question. Regarding our operations in Norway, we believe the basic operations have met our expectations in all aspects. After the new house opened on September 30, I would like to share with you some data. After the test drive, 1/4 of the users have placed orders for our products. We believe this is very impressive, and this shows basically the efficiency is much higher compared with that of here in China. This is on the delivery side. On the service side, we still need a lot of work to do. Our swap stations in Norway have just started the operation because previously we need to send people over to work on the installation and on the commissioning of the swap stations. And then for the after sales, we also encountered some challenges brought forward by the COVID situation. But the order momentum is quite strong. We have done some trial delivery at the end of September and in October, and we believe the delivery in November is going to improve significantly. There's a lot of order backlog, but we would like to control our pace of delivery a little bit at the beginning because internally we set the target for ourselves, especially on the user satisfaction rate. We have a kind of VAU is a vision action upgrade system in the company, and basically we use the VAU to set the target for ourselves. My personal VAU is to make sure we can achieve a high user satisfaction rate. Right now, according to the feedback we got from the ground in Norway, we understand that the word of mouth reputation has been quite good, and one of my friends actually sent a video to me to show that there are lots of visitors in the new house. I'm very happy to see this video and to see so many people in our new house in Norway. We will continue to make a decisive investment on the service and on other aspects, and we will do this step by step. Next year, besides Norway, we're going to enter additional 5 countries in Europe, and for this product planning of all those European countries, basically the ES8 based on the new technology platform 1.0 will only be sold in Norway, but for the other new Norway countries we're going to enter, we will only sell the product based on the new technology platform 2.0.
Yeah. 第二个问题就是还是我们的一个整个的一个长期的竞争策略的问题。我们认为这个中国的这个市场的竞争是大家也都知道有非常多的新进入者我们认为不管是在产品研发，包括销售服务网络、充换电网络方面，现在都是一个投入的时期。那所以2021年大家看到了我们投入的决心，2022年我们还会这个加大的投入我们认为基础设施这个销售服务网络、充换电网络也是竞争力的一部分。那么在3季度的话呢，确实这些投入因为相对来说他们这个爬升会快一些，所以大家可能看到了我们在 SG&A 方面的一些这个增长。当然我们研发的这个提速的话呢，我们今年的研发人员增加了1倍，那我们很多的项目、新产品研发和一些新的技术的研发，它有一个也有一个爬坡的过程。那我们如果从4季度开始看到的话，我们在研发费用方面的这个投入那大家可能看到一个比较快速的一个增长。这个跟我们整个车型特别是新产品开发的这个节奏有关系大家可以想象一下，我们现在有很多新的车型都在并行开发的过程中，那么这些研发费用的这个在财务报表上的反应差不多需要一些时间才能反应过来，它一开始立项的时候会少一些， 主要是一些人工的费用，项目相关的一些费用会逐步的随着产品研发的深入会逐步的在财报中反映出来。我们当然是会把产品和技术的研发放成重中之重。
I believe for the investment question, this is more about the long-term competitiveness or the long-term strategy of the company. In China, the competition is becoming more fierce because there have been many new entrants into the smart EV industry. We believe product development, technology development, sales service network infrastructure, including swapping and charging network, are part of the long-term competitiveness of the company. That is why we double down on our investment in all those regards in 2021. In 2022, we will continue to make a decisive investment on those aspects. We believe the infrastructure like the swapping, charging network, the sales service network are also part of the long-term competitiveness of the company. Maybe in the third quarter of this year, the investment on those aspects ramped up a little bit faster than expected. That is why we can see the SG&A cost increased higher than the previous expectation. But on the R&D side, we have also doubled our R&D personnel this year, and we have been working on many new products and the new technologies. But for all those new products and the technologies, it will need some time to ramp up all the pace. In the fourth quarter, we will be able to see some R&D expenses and the cost increase in this regard. You can imagine internally right now we have multiple new products and new projects working in parallel. Then probably at the beginning when we set up those projects, the cost is not going to be that high, and it will need some time to reflect all those R&D investments on our balance sheet or P&L. At the beginning is relatively small, but gradually, along with the project, this cost is going to increase. But we believe the product and technology should be the cornerstone of the company's long-term competitiveness, and that's why we will continue to make decisive investment on those regards.
谢谢 Paul.
Thank you very much. 谢谢.
Your next question comes from Chang Liu of CICC. Please ask your question.
Yeah, thank you for taking my questions. My first question is regarding the capacity expansion. So could you give us guidance on next year's sales volume, especially for the new 3 models and also our current 3 models? So can our capacity meet the need in next year? And considering the strong EV demand on our more new models in 2023, do we have a plan in constructing more new plants? My second question is regarding the upgrade of smart hardware, because we are expecting a really fast upgrade in the smart hardware in next years. So how do we keep our competitiveness of our next models and to keep our users satisfied? Also, I have a follow-up question for our globalization. So in longer term, do we have a guidance for the proportion of overseas sales account for our overall sales? Thank you.
好，谢谢刘畅。对，我们现在你可以理解，我们现在有2个有一个工厂在生产，并且产能已经得到了提升。我们还有一个新的工厂在建设的过程中，明年3季度会投入生产，会正式的投入运营。总体上来讲，短期内这2个工厂应该足够支持我们的产能了。如果从一个规划的角度来讲的话，这2个工厂最大加在一起，最大的话在双班的情况下的话，最大的话能到60万的这样的一个产能。 所以我们认为是短期内是能够满足我们需要的。这是关于产能的情况。
Thank you, Liu Chang, for your question. Right now, we have basically 2 plants. The first plant, like I mentioned, that we have upgraded the manufacturing lines to further expand the production capacity. For the new plant, we are going to start the production in the 3rd quarter of next year. So for our product and operations, we believe these 2 plants should be able to support our demand for the short term. If we combine these 2 plants together, the maximum production capacity we can support is up to 600,000 annual production capacity based on double shifts. So we believe this maximum production capacity should be able to satisfy our demand in the short term.
第二个问题就是我们对现有的 NT1 的这个用户的这种智能硬件的这样的一些升级我们在前一段时间跟用户交流的时候已经也说到，我们会基于现在的这个 NT2， 我们会有一些硬件升级的这样的一些计划我们在明年合适的时候会提供用户这样的一些服务当然这个肯定是没法升到像 NT2 那样但是和现在的这个相比的话，特别是在座舱的体验这个方面的话还是会有很大的一个提升那我们从这个角度来讲的话呢，我们在产品设计的时候就已经考虑了这样的一些这样的一些升级的可能性那当然软件方面的升级我们一直在持续的进行，我们在今年3季度发布的这个 3.0 我们这个Aspen 的 3.0 的这个系统也收到了用户的一个好评那也给我们长期的迭代打下了一个很好的基础包括全球市场的这个进入打下了一个好的基础，所以总体上来讲我们还是会持续的这个对现在的软件进行这个升级。
For the NIO technology platform 1.0 smart hardware upgrade, we previously communicated with our users that we will study some plans to upgrade the hardware on the new technology platform 1.0 based on our design on the new technology platform 2.0. We plan to probably provide these services starting from next year, and we will provide some more details and updates on this regard at a more suitable time. Of course, this smart hardware upgrade on the new technology platform 1.0 is not going to be the same as the same kind of experience of the new technology platform 2.0. But we believe the digital cockpit of the existing product is going to significantly improve. We have already considered all those flexibilities and the possibilities of the hardware and the software upgrade in our product design. For example, just now I mentioned about the hardware upgrades, and then for the software aspect, we have been continuously upgrading our software. We launched and released our Aspen 3.0 to our users of the existing products and received great reviews and feedback from all those users. And we will continue to upgrade our software and iterate our software to make sure we can provide much better services and experiences to our users.
对，从全球化的角度来讲的话，我们当然这个我们一直都希望我们是全世界用户最满意的一个品牌这个是我们最关注的目标。但如果你去看在中国，但中国是全球最大的汽车市场，也是全球最大的高端的汽车的市场，所以毫无疑问我们在这个中国的这个市场是我们最重要的市场。但是我们在全球市场进入方面当然我们有长期的目标如果你让我去展望的话，当然我很难去给一个具体的哪一年达到但我觉得长期来看的话我认为这个中国以外的市场让我们的这个销售的目标达到 50% 是一个合理的一个计划。
Regarding the previous Aspen 3.0, we also believe that this provides a solid foundation for our global market entry. And if we go back to your question about the global market entry and the target for the global markets, NIO has always aspired to build a global brand. If we look at the global market, we can see that China is still the biggest auto market and the biggest premium market. So China will still be the most important market for us. But regarding our aspiration for the global markets, I cannot provide a very specific target for the global market at this moment, but I believe for the markets outside of China, in the long term, they should account for around 50% of all sales of our product.
Yeah, thank you, William.
好，谢谢刘畅。
As there are no further questions, now I'd like to turn the call back over to the company for closing remarks.
Thank you once again for joining us today. If you have further questions, please feel free to contact the NIO's investor relations team through the contact information provided on our website. This concludes the conference call. You may now disconnect your line. Thank you.